guys, welcome back, welcome to the review of the Turrican Flashback Collection on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, releasing in just a few days from now. Turrican games have often been described as a successful mix between Nintendo's Metroid, the vast exploration levels, and Konami's Contrast series, the essential run-and-gun platformer with plenty of weapon upgrades. And the developers of Turrican have even incorporated that awesome coin block mechanic, of course made famous by Shigeru Miyamoto's Super Mario Bros. And on a personal note, it's a European product developed at the time that most big games came from Japanese soil. So it is with genuine delight that I present to you today the Turrican Flashback Collection on Nintendo Switch. The Turrican Flashback Collection consists of 4 titles. The original 1990 Turrican from the Commodore Amiga, Turrican II, The Final Fight from the same home computer, 1994's Mega Turrican from the Sega Mega Drive, and finally Super Turrican from the Super Nintendo, released in 1993. Before we dive in, let's quickly look at the additional settings which have been provided for every game in this collection. As you can see, you can change quite a lot of settings, and the nice thing here is that you can do this prior to starting your game, but even in the middle of the action. And every change you apply, you can immediately check out in full screen preview, like the display aspect ratio, either original, scaled up, or stretched. I definitely prefer playing with the original aspect ratio. If you decide to scale things up, you can adjust the sharpness of this scaling. You can choose different backgrounds, which I think they could have added a few more. You can opt for the old school CRT display setting. You can change the color space, etc. Other than this, the most notable addition to this collection is the cheat menu. I am not much of a cheater myself, but here you go. Now on to the meat and potatoes. Welcome to Turrican. The original Turrican, released on the Commodore Amiga home computer in 1990, is one of those games which immediately set the tone for the entire series and did so much right the first time around. So much in fact that the developers only really shook things up from a gameplay perspective with Mega Turrican 4 years later. Turrican games are essentially run-and-gun platformers, set in big scale levels with plenty of room for exploration. Unfortunately, you're working on the clock, so when the timer runs out, that's it for you. Thankfully, movement is fast and the emulation runs perfectly, both in handheld and in dock mode. Our protagonists boast a wide range of weapons, from a regular upgradable rifle to something called a power line, which you can rotate all around you. And from a vertical flash, eliminating everything to your right and left sides, to grenades, which pack quite the punch. And lastly, some mines for you to scatter. One of the most obvious inspirations from Nintendo's Metroid is the inclusion of a morph ball, allowing you to get to places otherwise hard to reach and move around much like Sonic did shortly after Turrican released. Power-ups are essential to your progression through this game and are found just about everywhere you look. But the best ones are those hidden in invisible blocks for you to discover. The game is riddled with enemies and features some of the best platforming of its time. There are mid-level bosses and end boss battles before advancing to the next stage. There's even a nice mix-up of level types from regular platforming to these flying jetpack type levels with auto-scrolling. Thankfully, the developers added a rewind feature, allowing you to course correct your movements at any given time. Turrican II, The Final Fight, sequel to the former game in the series, is in each and every way Turrican, but bigger and better. The power line has been replaced by a lightning beam, and upon closer inspection, you can see the character sprites changing with every change in direction of the beam. Really neat stuff this. Power-ups are once again found just about everywhere you look, enemies are plentiful, but thankfully don't respawn. Boss battles are as intense as ever, and I love the new weapon which bounces your bullets in every direction. Find diamonds in off-the-track locations, collect 1-ups, and explore, explore, explore. Mega Turrican, or as it was originally developed, Turrican III, is Turrican but with several twists. The most noticeable being the replacement of the beam rifle, which let you blast enemies in previous games, with the plasma rope, allowing you to reach places you can't otherwise. This brings a whole new dimension to the game, as simple platforming gains somewhat of a puzzle element in this way. Speaking about platforming, the other major change from the earlier installments is the pace of the game. Mega Turrican isn't all that much exploration oriented, but is designed to be more of a linear platformer. But with all of the upgradable weapons, this time receiving quite the makeover, moving platforms and enemies abound, it is a delight playing through this game. The last game in this collection, Super Turrican, is my personal favorite and harks back to the first two games in the series. In fact, it's more or less a remake of every Turrican game up to this point, but with its very own feeling and in genuine Dolby surround sound. From a graphical perspective, this game looks gorgeous in its 16-bit setting, especially those parts when lightning strikes come down at you and the skies turn dark. Lovely. Remember that grappling hook from Mega Turrican? Yeah, that had to go, as we see a return to a beam weapon. This time, a freeze beam, allowing you to temporarily paralyze your enemies, which is super handy. Once again, run and gun your way through the large stages, battling common enemies and boss characters as you delve deeper into the world of Turrican. And there you have it, guys, the Turrican Flashback Collection on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4, releasing in just a few days from now. And do I recommend picking this guy up? Absolutely. If you're a fan of retro games, platformers, or better yet, run and gun platformers, then this is a must play for you guys. Have you ever heard of the games Duke Nukem? Yeah, they were basically ripped off of Turrican, and Turrican inspired even such games as Sonic the Hedgehog. And the thing is, I can show you all the gameplay you want, I can talk about it all day long, you can check out a trailer or two, but these are games you have to play for yourself to experience the difficulty, but also how well balanced these games are. And these games are old, yes, they're from the 90s, but they've received quality of life upgrades, most notable of all, of course, the rewind feature and the save states. Without those, these games are really tough, and with that, well, you can actually finish them with a smile on your face. Well, what do you guys think? Drop a comment in the section down below. Let me know if you're planning on picking this guy up physically, digitally, or giving it a pass. I really wouldn't know why you would give it a pass, but you know, might not be your cup of tea. In any event, be sure to smash that like button if you have enjoyed this review. Subscribe to the channel. Hey, will you be number 1000? Let's have a look, and I'll see you next time.
Welcome to Turrican!